Please state your name.
Lily DePaula. I never really know when I'm going to encounter it. It's not something that's really planned, it's not something that's expected. So at any moment, at any point of the day, nighttime, morning, doesn't matter, any resident can come to me with concern. Suicidal tendencies among residents is something that's very serious, very scary. It's something that's always on my mind. I've had to encounter it a couple of times. Fortunately, it's always been preventable in my scenarios. No resident has ever been too badly harmed while I was on duty. There have been a couple situations over the years, some more extreme than others. There have definitely been a few that have taken more of a toll on me and my duty partners. We as RSAs also need help and support sometimes when we deal with those really heavy topics that we might never have been exposed to before, that we weren't prepared to be exposed to, and that sometimes can hit people a lot harder than others depending on what they've experienced in their past life. My friends who's an RSA, we still talk about some situations that we've had because they stick with you. Some images never really leave your mind, and of course it's harder for the person who's going through it, but it also really takes a toll on the RSAs who are dealing with it too, because you'll just play the situation over and over in your head 1,000 times on what else you could have done, what you could have done differently, what you should have done first instead of the third thing that you did when this situation happened. And who you called first, what you should have said, what you did say, everything goes through your mind and you question everything that you did, only for the benefit of the resident. We always want our residents to get better and to feel good about themselves and their lives, and knowing that we were the first responders and that we could have had a huge impact on that for the better or for the worse really can affect you in the long run. As RSAs, we all get training on this so that we're all prepared, because you never know who's going to encounter it. Some people might encounter it multiple times, some might never encounter it, which they'd be very fortunate for. We should call while we are en route to go get the resident or find the resident. That way responders can come more quickly. We're also supposed to call in and make it very short and sweet, to the point, make sure that help can get there as soon as possible with as much information in as short of amount of time as possible. If it's a life or death situation, I fully take the stance on risking my job and in order to save a life. If I ever thought that a resident was in immediate danger of themselves or another person, I would interject myself. That's just my morals, but it's something that I just take into consideration for myself, because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that I would let someone be in harm's way and I didn't do anything about it when I could have. My thoughts on suicide as a whole, that it's awful. I would never wish those kinds of feelings upon anyone in the entire world. It's something that I think people need to talk about more. People have a lot more suicidal tendencies than the rest of the world thinks. And a lot of people also think that if they have suicidal tendencies that they're the only one out there who does. And they're not. And it happens on our campus more often than I think a lot of students would know. I think that if people talked about it more, were more open about it, then people wouldn't be so afraid of the stigmas that come with suicidal tendencies and thoughts and any kind of self-harm actions that might be towards suicidal tendencies. I think it's one of those things that people need to know that there are others out there for them. And if you ever suspect that one of your friends, family, anyone that you know, a neighbor, a kid who you sit next to in class might be suicidal or might be in just a dark place in their life, then don't be afraid to ask them. Just let them know that you're there for them and always be a support system. Just knowing that someone else is there for them can really make a huge difference, whether it's one person or the entire world. And I think that's something that us as a society really needs to encounter more often.